Today we're going to talk about how to stop a leak in your W-body vehicle. When I say W-body vehicle, that's a type of chassis design that was common to the Grand Prix, the Impala, the Monte Carlo, Buick Regal, Cutlass, and a couple others. Basically all cars of this type experienced a leaking issue on the passenger side floor area. You'll just see an inch of water. You can see a little bit of water in my car right now. A lot of it's dried up, but some of the water is still there. It's pretty wet on the carpet. And what happens is the water comes right through the blower motor. And if you watch any of my previous videos, I got a video on how to fix a blower motor that stopped working. That's the reason why the blower motor stops working. I didn't know that until recently, but what happens is all this rainwater comes right through the blower motor from the windshield area, and it just rots the inside of that. Well, it doesn't rot it, but it causes corrosion, and it causes all the brushes and armature and bearings and all that to seize up. And that's why the blower motor stops working, and that's why you have to service it. So if you don't fix this issue with the leaking, you're just going to have problems with the blower motor over and over again, and that's never really going to go away. There we go. And now you can see that the wiper blades are well out of the way of where we're going to be working. As I said before, this is a two-piece cowl, and the seam is right there in the middle of the car. So we only need to remove this section on the passenger side in order to access the area that needs to be serviced. We got a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver, so the Phillips is going to be for the two fasteners and the flathead is going to be for this large plastic thing. So let's see if we can get all this off. Okay, so I finally got the fasteners out, pieces off. Here's the piece right here, I just took it off. Just show you how it looked before. So it was sitting like this, right? You take off the fastener over there, you take off that fastener, you take off that fastener, pull back up towards the glass, and this thing kind of just comes out. This is the washer fluid line for the washer blades. A couple of clips there, and they're extremely easy to remove. A pleasure compared to the other fasteners, actually. You just have to push a little bit on the hose and it comes out of those clips. You remove this cowl piece here. If there's any crap or garbage in the grill area, this is where the air comes in. Just, you might want to clean this up a little bit before you reinstall it. And on the back you'll notice that there's a foam weather stripping that goes along the entire length of the trim edge here. Provides some sealing against the glass. Probably want to clean that, and if you feel like reconditioning it, you can, although we're not going to focus on this being the primary inhibitor of rainwater because it's going to get past that for sure. What we really need to focus our attention on is this nightmare over here. Take a look at my car. Wow, this here is the weather stripping I was talking about that's supposed to act as a gutter to divert rainwater away from the blower motor, and it's completely fallen off. It's not even coming off, it's just fallen off. So it was just laying there when I took this off. It's supposed to obviously seal against this sheet metal trim edge here, this flange. And if it does its job properly, any water that makes it down here is just going to run along the length of that and fall somewhere over there. And you can see if it drips off the sheet metal here, it's going to fall into this gutter, and that gutter is going to take it all the way down here where there's a drainage hole. So this drainage hole is meant to be, the location where all the water deposits, but instead of doing that, it's falling off the glass, falling off the sheet metal, going right smack into the blower motor, and you can see the blower motor housing, like I told you, right through there. And for some weird reason that I have no explanation for, I do not have an air filter in my car for that blower motor. Very, very strange. There's supposed to be an air filter there, but there isn't. So basically all the needles and garbage that falls in there can go straight through. Very strange. Somebody must have serviced this car before I owned it and just took it out or failed to replace it, or I don't know what happened. But anyway, there's no filter there, but there should be. So yeah, that's that. So let me show you what the logic is here. As I said before, this is supposed to go on like this. This is let me show you the cross section. This top piece here with the hollow hole in the middle, that's called the bulb. And this section here with the fins on it, that's the part that actually goes over the sheet metal. So the bulb is supposed to provide, you know, a spring-like sealing action, and the this piece here is what well, this seals against another part of the car, and this here seals to the sheet, or attaches or mounts off the sheet metal. So what we really need to do is put something inside of this, like some silicone or some caulk or something like that, that will act as an adhesive to make a positive sort of weatherproof seal against the sheet metal, so that the sheet metal, so that any water running onto the sheet metal won't get past this piece of weather stripping. That's the whole point. So we're going to put something in there to make it seal. So before we do that, we're going to want to clean the sheet metal surface so that we have a good contact surface for the adhesive to seal against. We don't want to have dirt and grime on that sheet metal edge, because it just won't make for a good solid contact zone. So I'm going to get some cleaners out and just polish that up a little bit so we have a nice snug fit, and then we get something to put basically in down through that groove there. And then we'll reassemble this, and hopefully, you know, once we reassemble it, the intended effect is that the water will either fall off over there and fall into this gutter here, which would be fine, or it'll run down the right hand side and fall into this gutter over here. But basically we want it to bypass this big rectangular aperture, and that's the goal. So as long as the seal is good from around here to here, this is your you know, this is where 100% of your effort is going to go into, to make sure that this part here in particular seals as good as possible, so the water either goes to the right or to the left, but not drip down this way. So let's get to that. One of the things I like about products like alcohol or acetone, really simple. You don't need to get fancy and pay a lot of money. You can go to the dollar store and get this stuff, and it dries really fast and doesn't leave residue behind, and most dirt and other types of grime are soluble in it. So basically I took a toothbrush here, a little bit of alcohol, run it down the length of the channel here. It's still a little bit wet, but you can see that I've cleaned that out, so it's just drying now, and ran it along the flange. Looks a lot better too. After cleaning both surfaces, I just put some of this Fix-All contact cement. Probably not the best stuff to use. You could use silicone, you could use, you know, any kind of filler, but contact cement is what I have at hand. So just put it inside the channel there and basically seal it back to the sheet metal flange, and let it dry, and hopefully that'll provide a watertight seal. Don't be afraid to apply a generous amount of it and just fill up that crack, and then just push it back onto the sheet metal. Make sure you don't let it slide off or fall off. Mine's a little slippery. It tends to want to fall off, so I'm going to have to put some pressure on it to keep it in the right position until it dries a little bit better, but should fix the problem, I think, pretty good once it dries. Well, there's not a whole lot left to say, really. I basically just held the piece of weather stripping on with duct tape while it's drying, because it tended to want to slide off. Maybe the cross section that I showed you that holds the sheet metal, it's been pried apart, and it's no good anymore. So it's loose now and doesn't grip the same. So I'm just relying on the adhesive to hold it on there. So I need to have this tape in there just to hold it on just until it dries. I got an old wash mitt to plug up the hole where the filter goes, because like I said, there's no filter in my car for some weird reason. I'll keep that there until this dries, and then I can very easily just take it out and put the cowl back on. But I don't want to put the cowl on until I'm sure that this thing is secure. So for now I'll just keep it like this. We're not expecting any rain, so I can drive the car around like this for a little bit and then just finish the job later. To finish the job, there's nothing to say. Just do the reverse of what you did to take it apart, and if you need to, you can use some silicone or something similar to glue the cowl to the window glass on the underside in case you ruin the clips, for example, and the cowl doesn't want to sit flush. The cowl is really your first line of defense. If the water doesn't get by that, it's not going to burden this piece of weather stripping as much. So like I showed you, that piece of foam on the back of the cowl, that's supposed to seal against the window glass, and if you've compromised the fasteners in any way by removing them, and the cowl doesn't want to sit flush anymore, then you might need to put some sort of adhesive on it when you put it back on, just to make sure it seals up against the glass. But it's not necessary. It's just an extra piece of insurance so that this fix lasts as long as possible. Anyway, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and comment, and thanks for watching.